Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7 and today we are checking out the Monster Aurora Rays. That's with the ultimate goal of seeing if this is worth adding to your collection or your daily carry. This knife did come from the Lefty Pass-Around group. It is not mine to keep, and after this review, it will go back to the Lefty Pass-Around group. Alright, so this knife is made by Monster, and as far as I can tell, this is an in-house design. First impressions, I really like the way this knife looks. We've got a nice little harpoon, which I'm a big fan of. Throw a harpoon on anything and I'll probably like it more. But it's a very clean and simple overall design without looking lazy. So we've got this nice milled titanium handle with this, I want to say it's a starburst pattern. We have this subtle gray-blue anodization, which looks really good. The amount of milling and the level of detail in the milling is really impressive. So if you look, you can see right here, there's barely any depth to the to the milling, but then as that starburst extends, we see the milling get deeper and wider. And then up here, the milling doesn't get a whole lot deeper, but that's because it has less travel space. So the depth of the milling is pretty uniform right around the pivot, and then we have this fade into much larger, much deeper milling. So I think that's a fantastic detail that they put on there. As far as the hardware goes, we have T8s all over. So T8s for the pocket clip, even for the lock bar insert, it's a T8. So, you know, excellent attention to detail, excellent quality as far as the hardware goes. The clip is non-reversible, relatively deep carry. You'll have about an inch sticking out of your pocket. And then we've got this 1/3 travel backspacer with a lanyard hole. And the backspacer does have functional jimping on it, which means whenever you're holding onto it, you're going to have some of that jimping helping you lock your hand in. And since we don't have any jimping up here, you know, we really want every little bit we can get. Luckily, the texture on the handle is also going to help you hold on to it because of how deep the milling is back here. It actually provides some extra grip for whenever you're using the knife, which I think is fantastic. As far as the ergos on this knife, it's done very well. This is a very comfortable knife. I'm not getting hot spots, and although the poon is a little far up, you can, if you have longer thumbs than me, you can use it as kind of an indexing point. It's not going to stop you from overtaking the poon if you're applying pressure, but it does kind of let you know where you're at. And then as far as the pinch grip goes, you can certainly gain more control of the knife by putting your finger right here, and then you kind of have this trigger pull positioning to do your pinch, right? So it gives you a lot more precision, a lot more maneuverability with the knife. You know, it just puts you in the driver's seat for any precision cuts, draw cuts, things like that you need to do. As far as the feel, the knife feels relatively lightweight. It doesn't feel cumbersome or heavy considering the size of it. I want to say it feels well balanced. If I put my finger maybe a little butt heavy. Yeah, it looks like we're a tad butt heavy. Ideally, we'd want to be up here for the balance, but we're falling back here just a little bit. Either way, not a big deal. This is about where you want the balance to be anyway, because this is where your predominant finger is going to be holding it. It's kind of sharing that space with your middle finger too, but either way, it feels good in hand. It feels lightweight, feels balanced. Overall, you know, no complaints as far as that goes. With the blade, we have this really nice hand satin drop point harpoon, or harpoon drop point, I should say. I want to say we have a flat grind on the blade. And This blade's going to be great for, you know, cutting and for poking. You see we have a very handsome swedge up here. It's giving us a little robustness behind the tip. But this is going to be a great general use knife. It's not optimized for slicing, and it's not totally optimized for poking, but it'll essentially do everything that you want it to do in a normal, like, day-to-day EDC use. We're coming in with M390, and they listed the HRC at between 60 and 62, which is a heck of a lot better than the industry standard of 59 to 61. Clean that up a bit. Lock bar access is good. It's not particularly difficult to get in there. They do have it scalloped to make it a little bit easier on the thumb whenever you get in there and disengage it. And I will say this knife is lefty friendly. Despite being a frame lock, they give you enough room, enough landing that you're able to actuate it pretty easily. Without kind of locking yourself out. Now, if I do put pressure on the lock bar, I can't, right? If I put any pressure on that lock bar, okay, maybe I can get away with a little bit of pressure, right? So if I'm just resting my thumb here, okay, so yeah, I can deploy it. As long as you're not pushing down really hard on the lock bar, you should be fine. So just casually resting my hand, and I still get a full satisfying deployment. Now the detent is, the detent's good. It's not too stiff. It's not too soft. You break the detent, it's gonna fly out of there like it's in charge of somebody. Or as some would say, with authority. But the detent is satisfying. I like the acoustics. We have acoustics, good acoustics coming out. We have a nice little thunk on the way back down, which I find very satisfying. And this knife, it's a shake shut. So we get past the detent ball, shake, shake, closed. I feel like if I put skiffs in, we would get that guillotine, that slow kind of hydraulic close, which I really like. But if you're not an action snob, this still feels really good. Now overall length, we're looking at 8.19 inches, so by no means is it a small knife. Blade length of 3.46. That's giving us a blade to handle ratio of 73%, which is not bad at all. It's not quite giving us that 50-50 look that I like to go for. That would come at about 80% blade to handle ratio, but all in all, it's not bad at all. You see we have probably about 1/3 of an inch down there that could have blade but doesn't have any, and I would have preferred either shortening this up or adding a little bit of blade to it. Some people have said this looks like the poor man's Rask, which I kind of agree with. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not going to be to that level of quality, it's not going to be to that level of action, but if you kind of like that flipper only clean looking design, I could definitely see it here. And then we have an overall weight of about 3.9 ounces, which is not perfect. You know, you really want to see about an inch. Rather, you want to see an ounce per inch of blade, with the blade being 3.46 and the weight being 3.9. We're pretty darn close to it. We're not bad at all. Now for size comparison, let's go ahead and pull out the Peregrine, or not Peregrine, sorry, the Remet Wild Species. And we're going to go ahead and pull out the Kubi Verahero. You can see it is longer than both. And it looks like the Peregrine is, not, I keep calling it the Peregrine. It looks like the Wild Species is actually pretty close to being longer. That's really just the angle though. Looking at it from where I'm at, the Aurora Rays beats it out by just a hair, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8, but it really is just barely. They're pretty comparable in size. And then the Verahero is getting dwarfed by about 1/2 inch. All right, now what's the price point on this bad boy? We are coming in at, I want to say, $228 for the Aurora Rays. No, I apologize. I'm way off. It's $276. So $276 for this bad boy. Not this bad boy. $276 for this bad boy. Now, do I think that price is fair? Well, I do. I do think it's a fair price. With the amount of milling, the heat treatment being between 60 and 62, you know, and kind of the elegant styling of this knife, I think that's a fair price. But not only that, a lot of YouTubers, I don't have one yet, but a lot of YouTubers do have a 10% off discount code. So you're going to take about $27 off the overall price, which will put you right around $250, and I think that's a great price for what you're getting with this knife. Now, would I carry it? Absolutely, I would. I like the elegant look of this knife. I like the fit and finish. I like the milling. The heat treat, I think, is more than acceptable because they are doing more than the bare minimum. The difference between a 59 HRC and a 60 is exponential, right? So it's not like going up in HRC isn't a marginal improvement. It is a night and day improvement, right? That's why every point of HRC counts. So 59 to 60 is a world of difference, 60 to 61 is a world of difference, and 61 to 62 is a world of difference, right? So that's how you want to look at it as far as whenever a company lists their HRC. Can you live with the worst case scenario? At 59, you're going to be sharpening a whole lot more than you are at 60. If 60 HRC is your worst case scenario, then I would say that's more than doable. You're still going to get, not maximum, but you're still going to get to see the strengths of the M390 played out with a 60 HRC. So yeah, I would carry it. I like the ratios. I like the ergos. I think it's comfortable, elegant. You know, I think my only real critique, jimping on the spine would have been nice, and really that's about it. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I really don't, at the price point, I really don't have a whole lot to complain about. You know, you're looking at, you know, higher end concept territory. But this thing's made every bit as good as, like, say, a Best Tech or, you know, even a Riot. Maybe not quite Riot, but definitely every bit as good as the Best Tech. So, yeah, absolutely a recommendable knife. This will be linked in the description. Outside of that, though, we don't really have anything else for today. So, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know, does this knife have a spot in your daily carry or in your collection? If it does, the link for this knife at the best price is going to be linked in the description. I will try to find a 10% discount code from another favorite YouTuber that we can use to give credit to and to help save you guys a little bit of money. And if you want more reviews like this, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at SEVRSEVN. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, bye-bye.